Hi, this is an English version of my live broadcast today, and there were no one following, but I've just started on this, so I don't expect that many people will come to my live broadcasts at once, but I hope to grow a community in future. I have quite a few English-speaking followers, especially in Asia, so I'd like to make this video. This video is about that the body keeps score, the things that your mind tries to ignore because of traumatic experiences, the body remembers. So that's the topic here. It's about mental health, like as usual. I will have to read from a script, so I hope you don't mind. So I'll start now, okay? What I have been describing, both from my childhood and the life later, fits very well with what trauma research and the body keeps score, the book, describe as the body's way of carrying unbearable experiences forward, even when memories are fragmented or doubted afterwards. It's therefore scientifically sound to use my story of how the body remembers, connected to research and scientific scientific research. But the thing is, sorry, that was not that well explained, but I hope you don't mind. This is the book, The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. He's an, I think, Dutch-American psychiatrist that has written several books about mental health, especially about things that your body don't forget. And also he teaches in different areas within mental health. That's what I know about him shortly. Let's start with the next. The body remembers. What does that mean? Trauma research shows that severe burdens in childhood, such as psychological abuse, fear, humiliation, neglect, and exploitation, do not only leave traces in thoughts, but also in the brain, our nervous system, and body. Bessel van der Kolk, the author of The Body Keeps Score, describes trauma as an imprint that remains in the body and brain long after the events are over. Van der Kolk emphasizes that trauma disconnects mind. Let's start that sentence again. Van der Kolk emphasizes that trauma often disconnects from mind and body. The mind tries to protect us by dampening, repressing, or fragmenting memories, while the body continues to react as if the danger is still there, with restlessness, tension, pain, sleep problems, and strong emotional reactions. I recognize that very much in my daily life because I have a lot of sleeping problems. Restlessness is something I struggle with a lot. I'm not patient. I have muscular pains and chest pains in occasions because of anxiety. So many of these things can be connected to this research. And I'm sharing this because I hope maybe people out there that also experience the same things as me will be able to connect to this video. This is the core of the phrase, the body keeps score. The body keeps a record of what has happened, even when the story is not clear in the head. So let's talk about the next point. Your childhood, control, fear, and invisible wounds. It's a little about my childhood. Where I lived under control and fear from a much older family member, which with demands of child labor without pay, the feeling that you had to obey, episodic physical violence, and humiliating situations, such as having to hold and spit on while hold a spit on. I'm talking about a cup that you can spit in while he sat down on the toilet. That's one of the situations that I had to experience as a child, several times though. In addition, another family member organized the work, and you had a family where you're not treated as equal as other family members, neither emotionally nor formal processes around several things, especially my parents. So, yeah, this corresponds with the trauma research calls that the research calls chronic relational trauma in childhood. So that's a relational experience where you have trouble with relating to the family. The child lives in an environment where the person who should be safe either scares, controls, exploits, or fails to protect. ACE research, it's actually a huge research. Adverse childhood experiences, I've had a video about that much earlier this year, shows that such long-term burdens, including emotional, physical, psychological abuse, physical abuse, exploitation, and emotional neglect, are strongly associated with increased risk of depression, anxiety, sleep problems, somatic complaints, and self-destructive behavior in adulthood. The fact that I have spent a lot of energy holding it together and have experienced depressions, sleep problems, anger, and sense of being an outsider it aligns completely with the research that has been done with the ACE research, adverse childhood experiences. It also aligns a lot with the book, The Body Keeps Score. Then another point, I sometimes I doubted my experiences because I have memories from my childhood that seem to be completely not a normal childhood. So then you start doubting, are you making these stories up? So it's a key point that I have been raising a doubt. If my upbringing was so difficult, how could I, at the same time, play football, coach children, cycle, have other normal activities? And does that mean that I might be exaggerating or imagining the trauma? This doubt is actually very common in people with childhood trauma. You try to normalize things that shouldn't have been normal. Trauma research shows that children often develop survival strategies that allow them to function normally in some areas while living in chronic internal stress. And that stress has followed me further in life. Some become extra capable, helpful, or responsible. Examples like working at home in the family business, being good at sports, taking responsibility for others. Others stay away from home as much as possible, like training, football trips, and doing many activities to stay outside from home. But for me, it was the first point, because the second point, I didn't have that option. But I had to be capable of working. I had to show my worth in a way. And that was by being available for the family as much as possible. Vandal Kolk, the psychiatrist, describes how the brains of children in unsafe home are trained to be in alarm mode, hypervigilance, scanning for danger, constant tension, while they try to live a normal life on the outside. My friends didn't recognize anything. I didn't have many friends, but I went to school, but most of them thought they couldn't see it because I was a happy child in many ways. Memories of painful situations can become fragmented. You remember pieces, specific episodes, atmospheres, bodily sensations, but not a continuous film of what happened. So I have forgotten many things, but some things stay in mind, some scenes, some pictures stay there. And that's the thing, you try to suppress the rest. This is not a sign that I'm imagining things, but a well-known feature of traumatic memory. It's stored more as a bodily and emotional trace than clear stories in my head. Then I'll take this last point before I summarize. The body as a memory, sleep, anger, restlessness, and pain. What I describe that many years of psychological, what I described many years later, that I went to a psychologist After long-standing sleep problems, inner anger, I had some dreams that suddenly where I wanted to hurt family members, connected to depression, anxiety, strong emotions towards family members, and I even felt hatred. All these things is typical examples of how the body and emotional life continue to react long after the things that I have experienced in my childhood. They don't just go away. Recent research on body memories emphasizes that negative bodily experiences such as pain, pressure, fear, or chronic stress in childhood can be stored as clinical body memories, later showing up as diffuse somatic complaints, tension, pain, somatic flashbacks, or disassociation, like emotional numbness, feeling disconnected. So many times I disconnected from those experiences because I had to, in a way, protect myself. Studies show that such bodily memories are particularly common in trauma-related disorders and complex childhood trauma, and that they can be triggered by situations that resemble earlier powerlessness, such as being overruled in family situations, or by systems like the healthcare system. These are examples. In my story, it makes sense like the sleep problem and inner anger after many years can be seen as body's attempt to process unfinished threats and injustice, especially injustice. That's something I feel very strongly, that I've been treated treated in a very bad way where there's no justice. The experience of being overruled by family members, excluded from formal process, and not taken seriously by healthcare systems, mirrors the old platform of being a child without a real voice. And even as an adult, I don't feel that I have a real voice. So to summarize, let's take the last point. From personal story to professional communication, I have planned book projects on mental health that I hope, and childhood trauma, that I hope to publish. That will be in Norwegian mainly. I see me as a child exposed to violence in close relations, and the invisible scars that I carry, system failures that failed to take care of me. All these align with the book Body Keeps Score, and researches that has to do with childhood trauma, physical and mental abuse, and the later consequences in adult life. All these things align together with each other. So I hope that it helps you a little bit. I hope that my sharing could help others to recognize these experiences. And if you have any questions, do contact me. I'm always here to talk. You can send me a mail. I think my email address is there. Or you can contact me just by sending me a message on YouTube. Okay? I hope you have a nice Sunday. It's Sunday the 20... What date is it today? Is it the 28th? So if you have any questions, do contact me. So I'll say good evening for now.